this out of proportion, but at the same time, I think it's something a lot of people struggle with, which is kind of why I felt like this was a video worth making. So anyways, point being, I'm going to slow down my talking a little bit. Also, a brief aside, let me know if you guys like this mic more. It's a Blue Snowball. It's just a mic I've had for years, but I've been using the nicer one that I have, but I kind of wanted to try a more close-up much shit going on upstairs anymore. So that's the first and biggest thing that I've experienced. But, as I said, there are still a couple of things that I kind of miss about having Instagram and just being more connected in general, so I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between pros and cons. I'm also going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter than my other ones, because I have a lot of stuff to do tonight and not a lot of time left in the day to do it. So, anyways, the biggest drawback I've experienced so far from not having Instagram on my phone is that I have no idea what's going on in the day-to-day world, culturally or socially. I can't tell you how many times over these past couple of months my brother Lucas or my best friend Parker or my girlfriend have said, hey, did you see so-and-so did so-and-so? Or did you hear the news about whatever? And I didn't have any fucking clue that happened. This is kind of a dumb example, but my brother last week said, did you see Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson? And it's just, I didn't. I was like, no, I had no clue. Are you serious? And then he sent me a post, like a news article about it. But it's kind of a perfect example of just that little shit that happens online in the digital world, in the day-to-day, that if you're on your phone, you see it immediately. You see it on TikTok, you see it on Instagram, you see some pop culture account post about it, or you see someone repost it on their story, or something like that. Those little things that happen in the day-to-day, whether it's sports, or celebrity gossip, or something political, or something, I don't know, whatever it may be. I don't hear about those things anymore, and truthfully, I kind of like it that way. I hate to sound like the kind of guy that's like, oh, I want to be different, but I kind of like when people have to tell me things that I had no idea about, because then I feel like, oh, I'm out of the loop, you know, like I'm just busy living my life. I didn't hear about that. Sorry, bro, I was in the real world. But it's kind of nice. Truthfully, though, sometimes I do feel like I wish I could see some of those things. Like, I'm super big into sports, like soccer, basketball, and golf, and I was watching a Lakers game the other night, and there was a new player on the team, and I was like, where the fuck did this guy come from? And it turns out they had traded for him, like, weeks before, because the NBA trade deadline was like, I think over a month ago at this point. And I just had no fucking idea that the deadline already came and went, and that a couple of these players got traded to different places. It's just little things like that, like just stuff that you would see if you were chronically online. But as I said, I kind of like being out of the loop, out of the loop, out of the loop. I don't know. Maybe it is something as simple and kind of shallow as I just like being different and not reading and seeing all the same shit as everybody else, but those are the kinds of things that fill your head with that noise. Like, oh my god, the trade deadline's coming up today, or did you see that Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson? Or did you see the I'm Just Ken performance at the Grammys? Just shit like that just doesn't really serve any other purpose other than to entertain you. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out, but the vast majority of the time, I kind of like the moment of days, but